Welcome to another podcast, Latin Chamber of Commerce Leaders in Action. And today we had a great leader and graduate from this program. And we have Maite Salazar, our co-host from the Latin Chamber of Commerce Business Program Director and many other hats. And Maite, how are you today?
I'm good, Carlos. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure and an honor to lead this program for the Latin Chamber of Commerce, working with so many business owners and leaders through these series. The different series that we have has been a real eye opener and just a real privilege to get to know all of these incredible people. With us today, before we get started, before we start with the interview, I want to just give a shout out and a thanks to Dieter, the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation. This program would not be possible without the sponsorship of this incredible agency that's helping us grow businesses and grow leaders, and so that businesses can hire more people and leaders can promote and change careers if they have to. But with us today to talk about himself, because the classes are so big, so it's really hard to get to know everyone in the class, is Marco Antonio Delgado. Welcome to our program. Thank you for being part of our program. And we want to get to know you more personally, professionally, and we want to know about your business.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And once again, reach out to the program, Latin Chamber of Commerce, and all the staff for making this possible. And it's a great opportunity to be here and represent the Latino community, but also help and service everybody. My name is Marco Delgado. My business is Las Vegas Best DJs. It's a DJing company. I've been in business for 25 years, and serving the Las Vegas community, with private events, corporate events, and even some charity work to help out, nonprofit organizations. And my main focus is try to grow, and help out in any ways that I can.
It's interesting that you say DJs. Every DJ I've ever met, they love what they do. Do you love what you do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was a music major. I did, through like middle school and high school, and in college, I went through the music program, and did, over at UNLV, I did have a music scholarship. So music has been a passion of mine. Although I don't do the performance part of the instruments or anything like that, I did play the trombone in high school, Las Vegas High School, and UNLV. But the DJing was just natural. I was always fascinated seeing the DJs out there moving knobs and at the club dancing and enjoying the music. So I love that.
That's very interesting because the good thing is you tell us about your background in music. So you study music, you know the sound systems, you know the sounds, and how everything is played. Not Mickey Mouse getting the big
Yeah.
equipment out there, they're really noisy. But Marco, because DJ industry is really tough in Las Vegas. Until I believe the nightclub industry come on board and DJs was all over, but you started here so many long time in Las Vegas. So what the problem you find in your career? How you find those problems and how you overcome those obstacles in your career?
I think the biggest problem for any new business is having resources and support. The buying DJ equipment is one thing. You got to save up the money. So I started
A lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot.
yeah. Expensive. Once you get to the professional level, you're spending thousands of dollars just to get one piece of equipment. But as you grow the business, you obviously grow your technology and your equipment. Technology has gotten a little bit easier. Back in the day, I was carrying turntables. Not a lot of records. I wasn't a record DJ, but I did have the turntables. I started with CDs, and then the digital, MP3s came on board, and DJ switched to
No, but in
laptops.
the past, let me tell you, really heavy equipment.
Yes.
Everything was heavy those times.
It's a backbreaker, yeah. But that was one of the challenges, getting the equipment. The biggest challenge as a business person is in the business mentality is getting support and getting your name out there. Today is, I believe, it's easier with social media. You can post some good TikToks and Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube. And if you're decent and you're good, you'll get some followings. But when I started, we had none of that. So uh, printing my business cards with the printer, business cards that I made, putting my phone number under, and just passing it out to people. And it took a little while for it to snowball. When you're a good business, and it could be any business, it could be a restaurant, it could be some kind of service that you provide. Word gets around. Vegas is it's a small city when it comes to
The
like
industry. You're in
geographic.
industry, yes. Yes. I
But
agree.
but there's a lot of people here. But if you're good, people are gonna know about you. If you're bad, people are gonna know about you. So, but that was the toughest part, and I think overcoming that and getting your name out there and doing the best job possible was always that was the initial challenge.
So being the best and being good and not being the worst, I mean, those are important. But what makes you different? What makes you unique? So what makes you different from every other DJ that says that they're good?
Um, I think my biggest skill is not really the DJing skills; it's the people relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I first started, you got to make money. You're trying to pay bills, but my first uh, attraction to DJing was, I wanted to be in the party life. I was growing up in Vegas. When you're teenagers, there's not much to do, right? It's more stuff now, but I grew up here in the '80s, and there wasn't not much to do. We had Circus and Wet Wow, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's
Um,
it. Yeah.
that was
That's
it.
Yeah,
We went to the Midway when I was little. My grandma would leave us in the Midway playing arcade. She'd go play the slot machines, and we used to go get the free popcorn. That's lots of fun, and those were the good old days, But and then when we had the opportunity to go to Wet n Wild, we went there and we were there all day.
Yeah.
You get all toasted up, burnt up, and it was a nice way of growing up. But yeah, that's so
That's a dangerous path. I mean, I've heard of stories of people that were in the industry, and it's because you're in that nightlife, and there are a lot of influences. How did you not let that take you in a bad direction?
Well, my real quick, just to backpedal, like I'm an immigrant from Mexico. My mom, single mother with 4 kids, and my grandmother brought us here. Honestly, we did live the illegal life. We came here on a visa. We overstayed a visa, and over the years, my mom worked her her times at the Tropicana, the Flamingo as a housekeeper, and she worked hard. And going through the immigration process to get our green cards was tough. And fortunately, she made my stepdad, a Puerto Rican guy, and they made a deal. He wanted to date her, and she says, "You know what? I have 4 kids. If you're gonna date me, you're gonna help me." And so they got me.
I'm a package deal.
Yeah, he got the 5-piece combo, But they got married, and that helped her, get us our green cards. But like I said, growing up in Vegas, without all those resources was tough. And so, you asked, what was the thing that attracted me to the DJ? And it was just, the Vegas, the glitz and glamour, the spotlight. But for me, it was the passion of music and being in front of people, playing music and having an amazing time, and I found that very fascinating. I was like, and plus, music kind of ran in my blood. So, but yeah, that's pretty much. And your question was, how did I stay out of getting into the wrong path? Is, my mother worked hard, and single mother with 4 kids. How could I disappoint her if I went into, drugs and the gangs? Because it was big in the '80s, and I didn't want to disappoint her.
Today.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
And even today,
there's
yeah.
worse. Yeah, yes.
yeah. And so my biggest motivation was not to disappoint her, because all the hard work that she put in, crossing and living the illegal immigrant life, and it's not easy. It's tough.
Right.
It's scary, and it's very hard. But I didn't want to disappoint her. I want to make her proud, and that's why I stuck to the path, and I did my best. So here I am today, thanks to her.
Yeah, no, that's great because always family, and when you have a good foundation,
That's right.
and when you honor your man, that way is you bring us proud because We need to respect the hard work our parents did for us and made the way to do what we do today.
Yeah.
And hopefully our kids learn that so they can be a step forward moving upscale. And Marco, so busy. I mean, the nightlife is difficult. It's difficult. So how you find about this program? How you find?
Um,
Don't tell me it was in the nightclub because I quit. Okay.
no, besides the DJ, and I'm also a full-time realtor, so I connected, I think you came to
I
United
did.
Realty Group. Yes.
I
So
did.
I'm a realtor with United Realty Group, and my test showed up. We had a class on, new builds and other programs, but she was fortunate enough to come and offer the invitation to the leadership course. And I also know another individual who also went to the program, Gabby Escudero.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of her and she actually, I actually met her at this one event she had at one of the venues that I DJ for, Noche Libre. And I met her there and kept her contact over the years. And then when I found that she was involved in social media, I connected with her. You had mentioned the program, and she was also promoting it on her social media. I said, you know what, this must be a good thing. So I signed up, and that's how I found out about the program. Through my day over at the United Realty Group.
Yeah, there are actually a couple of people from United that joined this
Yes,
series.
yes.
So it was. I'm glad that that I was able to sell it. I was worried that I left there, and I was thinking, I don't know if I sold it, but I'm glad that we had some people sign up. Now, with that said, now that you've been through the program, what were your biggest takeaways, or did you have a aha moment where you're like, oh my gosh, this was really valuable to learn? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot, but
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a fire hose of information for any
Yes.
new business entrepreneur, right? But real quick, before I answer your question, I want to say that, back in high school, and I was just telling my dad in the lobby that, I remember as a high school, I don't remember exactly what we did, but they did bring us here
Oh.
for some tour. And ever since I was like a teenager, I was fascinated with being a member of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. But over the years, I just, just
I
never
hope
thought
you
about
see
it.
Otto, not me. Okay. Otto is the one.
Yeah, and there was I don't remember his name, but he always pushed. He says, "Become a member. It's gonna help your business grow." But as a kid, you don't, those things don't ring in your head. But I remember coming here and visiting the building.
It was
and meeting-
Carlos when he had hair.
Yeah,
You just
probably.
don't recognize him.
Oh, you don't remember, right?
Possibly.
Can I have a peluca so I can put on?
Possibly so.
Yeah.
But that's always been that seed's been in there, and here I am. Thank
Yeah.
God. 30-something years later, it's come to fruition that I'm becoming a part of it. So, for any teenagers out there, it's a good path. Stick with it. If you can be involved, participate, volunteer, go for it. The biggest
And with
takeaway-
that said, just I want to make a comment. The Latin Chamber of Commerce has been involved with youth leadership development and all kinds of youth programs, scholarships. And so, yes, they are our target audience as well. We are looking to help youth and embrace them as a chamber because we do have programming for them as well.
Yeah, and anybody out there who's young today, just listen to my words, because I was told the same thing. I just didn't take action. Take action. Get involved. Don't think about it and put it off till whenever the moment's right. When you get involved now, it's the best time to do it because as you grow, those relationships you're going to build are going to forge the bridge to your success. So definitely take advantage of it. Don't sleep on it like I
Yeah.
did.
That's right.
Yes, and no, and I'm glad you mentioned that because, like I might mention it, is the Latino youth. Is Otto Merida is our founder of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. He started this program, and we were involved in many aspects. And yes, to see those kids like you are a professional and others, they're different industry executives doing great in business. That bring the passion that Otto bring to the chamber and see that your heart is full of happiness because yes to see because that's the whole purpose in life is to bring youth to the good way to get into the best path as possible to be successful and you are one example of that. And Marco, in this class, and you're super busy. In this class, what mentor or what class hit you and say, "Wow, this is the class that opened my mind."
Yeah, and I'll answer your question and also to answer my test class. The biggest takeaway was, getting to learn that in business it's really all about personalities, right? We learned about the disc profile,
Mm-hmm.
and then we took the survey and we found out what our strengths were, right? For the ones who know disc profile, I'm a high I and high S. Very emotional, very friendly, and I like to bring people along. And it's always been my biggest. That's how I get to relate to people. It's I grew up thinking in the beginning, like especially with the business, like I gotta make money. So going from one event to another event, getting paid, making me that's good, right? But as I matured, I started to learn that those relationships that you forge, not just one event.
Yeah.
You don't want to just one client one time. You want repeat clients.
Right.
And then from there they can refer you, and your business grows from there. So the biggest takeaway is learning the personality that you have, and also learning the personality that your client, your customers have, and you have to match that. You have to match that in order to connect with them, and in order to, like I said, you don't want to just have a transactional business, because that can go away tomorrow. You want to have a relationship where you can go back and be repeat clients. And I do have, thank God I have repeat clients. I have some corporate events that call me every year, and they book me a year in advance because they know I get busy, but and then from there, not only those relationships, but those people will give you, go back to Google reviews and, posting comments on social media. Those great comments, those 5-star reviews that you get from providing a great service, they speak for you, because every time we purchase something online, I want to look at the reviews,
I do too.
and I go straight down to the 1 stars and 2 stars. What happened? A lot of times, it's kind of biased because
Right. The
not
competitors are sometimes putting,
Yeah.
some fake stuff on there.
and
but
we're not going to please everybody all the time.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
Yeah.
And so in any business, like I said, it's personalities and relationships, and sometimes we clash with our own customers, and sometimes, even though you provide the best service, they're still not happy, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But learning to adapt to that is how it's going to keep your business growing. So learning your disc profiles, it's a plus. So that was one of the biggest takeaways for this program.
Wow. So how do you see all of the learning that you had shape your future? Is it going to change how you're going to do things in the future? Or have you started applying the handouts that you received? Are there things that you're already applying that are going to make a difference in the future of your business?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of skills that I learned that I know were out there to help my business grow. But I also learned that I was already applying that prior to knowing what about it, and I didn't realize that.
That's incredible.
I was already doing things like that just because
Natural.
natural
Instincts.
business transactions and relationships. But definitely it makes you step back, and sometimes we get tunnel vision in our business that we forget to really look at ourselves, how we, conduct business. So taking a step back and seeing it from a third person point of view to see where we can help, where we can grow and learn from that. Fix the little mistakes that we're making, but also improve on the things that we're already doing good. So, you got to make it, step it up to the next level.
Well, it's nice. It was nice to visit the brokerage that you work for, because education is important. Obviously, you guys were actually having an educational event when I arrived, so it was nice because I was speaking to an audience who understood and value education and self improvement. And of course, everybody knows that the real estate industry is a very competitive industry. So.
Very.
Your high I, which makes you a people person, is probably very valuable in terms of connecting with people and probably discovering that was probably a nice thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and this program is going to help you reveal the kind of personality that you are. And a lot of times, we don't think of it. It's like I said, sometimes you can go into the business and just make it very transactional, but at the same time, learning what you're doing out there to improve on it is key. So this program's definitely going to help you. It's going to expose some weaknesses, and it's also going to expose some strengths that you have. So it was an eye opener to see that.
Marco, and I'm glad to hear everything you said, especially when you say this class put me in reflection. Yes, to step back a little bit, see around, and what is the future. And when you mentioned that, it to me is super important because uh, as a business owner, I learned later in life, but your ego is on the way. Always the
Mm.
ego is on the way. No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the best. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows
Yeah.
better than I do. And that was you go sideways. And based on that and your comments, do you recommend others to take this class that will be helpful for them?
Yeah, I totally recommend it. You mentioned something about the ego, right? And that's one of the courses that we took. Um, you know, I have worked regular jobs in the past in the corporate world, and I've had, I did 10 years in the military. I did retire as an E5.
Thank you for
Wow.
your service.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, bro.
So
So
were you a jarhead, a chair force?
I was Army. I was an Army combat medic.
Okay,
Army
all right.
combat.
Okay, that's good because the rest, fly, dancing, swimming, yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, Army.
But
strong.
yeah, in the military, some of these skills that we learn here, they put in place there. Having organization, having leadership. And yeah, you mentioned about the ego, and in the service, there's a lot of ego.
Yeah.
A lot.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and I carried that onto my regular civilian life once I got out of the service, and I had a lot of supervising positions, positions of leadership, and I always felt that I'm the supervisor. You're gonna have to do what I say, and I learned the hard way. I made a lot of mistakes. I got in trouble a couple of times. I wasn't mean, but I wanted to get the employees to do their job because I was put in a place of leadership, and I realized that you just can't force people to do anything. And
You
so,
can't be a drill instructor in the
no,
real world.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's too yeah.
Two different worlds.
In the army, it works. You tell your soldiers to do
you
this, they
have
do
to.
it.
Otherwise, you have to. I mean,
But-
otherwise you're done. I mean,
But in the civilian life, the corporate world, you can't. You have to be. I always say that you just don't know what somebody's going through personally, and
Right.
sometimes we, in our business and in our regular jobs, we take our family and internal problems and we bring them to work. We don't do it purposely. But if
Right.
you had an argument with a family member, maybe your spouse, your boyfriend, your wife, your whatever, and you go to work energized with that negative energy, and you project that onto your employees. So that's one of the things. The ego is putting your ego on check. Leaving that at the door, and realizing that we're all human. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes, but everybody has a different story going on with their lives. And if you're not sensitive to that, you could mistake somebody's insubordination as a just disobedience, or maybe
Right.
they're
Right.
challenging you, right? It's like, oh, I'm the boss, you can't challenge
you
me.
have to, yeah.
But you have to find out. You have to go deeper than that. And sometimes that's just what it is. Some people just they don't care about their but we have to be mindful that as a leader, even in a business, as an entrepreneur, you can't look at everybody and cookie cutter. Everybody's the same. So you have to be more. Every relationship that you create has a different energy, different flow,
Right.
and we have to be sensitive to that. Take a step back before we speak. It's not about us. Don't take everything personal. I grew up having that problem. Everything that, someone said something negative, someone reacted a negative way, I took it personal. Like, oh, I'm being attacked.
They looked at me weird,
Oh, they did this or they did. But not everything's. It's not all about us.
That's right.
So we gotta check our ego, and proceed with caution.
Take
I would
the
say.
chill pill, right?
Exactly.
And if it is about us, who cares,
Yeah. I think
sometimes you're not going to please everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
a
true.
people pleaser, so it's hard. That's like I'm speaking to myself.
No, I'm pretty much like him. Yeah, because sometimes on the field, you need kind of discipline in order to
Yeah.
get through the goals.
Yeah.
I understand, you have to understand individuals, but sometimes those individuals drag the team
That's true.
effort. So it's kind of balance. You need to find
Right.
the balance.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
leadership training. So those who are dragging the team is look. Let's train you the vision of the team, because at the end will benefit you as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So it's, but sometimes there are cabezones, you know what I mean? The guy say, "Oh my God, okay."
Well, it does take a lot of emotional intelligence. That's one thing.
Oh,
is
yes.
emotional IQ. If you don't know that, you got to learn that, because once I learned about emotional IQ, like you said, you have to be stern. You have to be a leader, and sometimes you have to get rid of dead weight, to accomplish the mission. And it depends on the industry too. It depends on if you have a staff of one or a staff of 1,000 people, right? So like you said, you got to gauge the situation, and then you got to pull out your arsenal of emotional intelligence. What can I do to improve? You can't baby everybody at all times. One thing about a leadership position, sometimes you just end up being a babysitter. You're gonna babysit people who are your age, sometimes older than you, and it's like having a daycare. You got,
Well
you,
defined, well
or
defined,
they
yes.
say, you gotta. I forget you're trying to. I forgot the expression. Something like rearing cats, right? Trying to gather
Yeah.
cats around. But like you said, having the emotional intelligence and having the skills,
Yeah.
and how to tackle those situations it's key. And this program does provide a lot of that. And like I said, it's a fire hose of information, but if you can take away 2 or 3 items, topics that are gonna apply to your business and help you grow, it's helping me. So definitely recommend the program.
And it's so true. I don't think that there's anything that can describe it as well as a fire hose of information, because our coaches that we work with, these are high level professional business coaches who work with companies, that these are multi-million dollar companies that have teams, these huge teams, and they work with them over a period of months and years, and train them with the same tools they're providing all of our participants. So I'm like, take advantage. If you have questions, email the coaches. They're available to you, because I can't guarantee in 6 months they're gonna answer any questions for free. So right now is the time to start implementing all the tools. If you have questions about them, or if you have questions unrelated to the tools, just something about your business, something that you're thinking about, and you want to run by one of the coaches, they are available to you. So it's such a unique program, and we're really excited to have been part of this journey with all of you. And so we just congratulate you on being committed, and because not everyone is committed,
Yeah, you have to. Things, what they say, easy things are easy to do, but the very the ones that are highly productive, not everybody does. So, but the one thing about the program that I really enjoyed, and this goes to any current or future students, the breakout sessions were great. You got to meet other entrepreneurs, and the ability to ask questions during the classes. You could raise your hand, either through the mic, or you can type in your question, and the coaches stop. They'll answer the questions. A lot of times we're going through the class and you're not allowed to ask questions.
right,
Then you forget your question.
right,
Yes.
But you could stop the coach, and like I said, they're very caring and very attentive to the students' questions, and they'll sit there and break it down, because a lot of times we may have a question that maybe 2 or 3 other people have. So if you open your mouth and ask a question, you may be helping other people other than yourself.
And you're so right. I mean, I've done trainings for 20 years, and I'm always like so grateful when someone asks a question, because yo soy preguntona. And
Correct,
so
correct.
sometimes
Me too.
I remember that, even in college, people would look at me weird, like, oh my gosh, she's asking another question, And it was funny, because I used to think about it, well, I'm going to ask a question because other people don't want to ask the same question I have, you know? And I always thought that it was benefiting more than just myself. But I also like to know things, you know? And
Yes,
so
yeah.
I like to ask a lot of questions. And so hearing you ask the questions that other people wouldn't ask, I'm grateful to you because I know that other people learn from the questions you were asking.
Yeah, and not everybody is as assertive, you know. They're afraid to ask the question because we're our biggest judges, right? We think that what we think is sometimes stupid or dumb, but in essence, we're helping other people. I was just like you growing up in high school. Other students were like frown, like, oh my god, here he goes asking questions.
There you go. There you go.
But you know, asking questions is what gets you. I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter if I'm the only one who doesn't know the answer to it, or maybe I'm the only one who's confused. But at the end of the day, you know, this course is for you, you know, to grow. So
That's right.
whatever questions you have, bring them. Ask the professionals, and sometimes they may have a simple answer, and sometimes it may be a very complex, you know, response. But you know, you're helping other people maybe comprehend because, you know, business is not easy. It's a very complex process that takes time to build. And you know, like I said, for me, I've been DJing for 25 years now. I've been in real estate for about 13. And I'm still learning stuff every day, you know. And I still have to Google and chat GPT stuff that I don't know because every day things are changing. Technology changes, the information changes, you know, new laws, new opportunities. So definitely, you know, ask your questions. Don't be afraid.
What would you say to people that because this is free. Like if you're watching this, these sessions were absolutely free, but it doesn't mean that they were free. There was a cost associated, and it's only because we have a sponsor that we're able to provide these incredible courses for business owners and leaders. But what would you say to those people that maybe are reluctant because it's free, it must not be any good? What would you say to them?
Yeah, there's a danger of looking at things that are free. There's a catch, right? You know, they say if it's free, then you're the product, right? But in this situation, you know, yeah, you can Google all this information, but you know, there's one place where you can come and sit down and be basically spoon fed a lot of information that you probably didn't know, you know. And if, like I said, if you could take, you know, 2 or 3 items and make yourself, you know, a better person, better business, a better entrepreneur, don't be afraid of the free. As a realtor, we have to take continuing education, and I spent thousands of dollars so that I can renew my license. And those aren't as intense as this course is, you know. And like I said, you know, this course was free. And once I found out that it was, you know, about leadership and business, I can tell you that, you know, the great people who have provided the I forgot the word of it, the name of it. The funding, right? Sponsorship, that's what the word I was looking for.
Yep.
It's not free, you know. These professionals know what they're doing. They work with, you know, Fortune 500 companies, and if Fortune 500 companies are spending thousands of dollars to train their leadership teams, you're coming into a program that's basically, you know, worth, you know, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and perhaps even millions. As your business grows and you apply the information that's given to us for free, it's invaluable. So don't be tricked that the free catch, right? It's an opportunity to grow. So take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Marco, I had can we have your schedule ahead? So when I feel lonely or something like that, so Marco, for our audience, look at the camera, tell it your experience, your background, what you do for business, how they can reach out to you directly, even though we'll post it, but we want to hear from you, please.
Okay, once again, for the ones who maybe just tuned in a little bit later, my name is Marco Delgado. I run my company, Las Vegas Best DJs. Been in business for 25 years here in Las Vegas, and we provide, you know, DJ and AV services for, you know, anything from private events like weddings, birthdays, all the way to corporate events. Recently, I was a part of an event at Formula One at Resorts World. That was a corporate event. Took all day, but it was amazing. So providing DJ services, DJ lighting, you know, video. You know, we do karaoke parties too. So,
Okay, sign me up, please.
so we do anything, anything from a small birthday event to a corporate event that could be thousands of people. You can find me on social media, Las Vegas Best DJs on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You want to email me it's info@Las Vegas Best DJs. My phone number is 702-498-5400. I go by DJ Marco. My alter ego name is DJ Mad. They're just the initials to my name. M-A-D, Marco Antonio Delgado.
Oh, yeah, that's mad.
Mad.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's
That's
cute.
really good. Yeah.
But, so you can find me on social media, Las Vegas Best DJs. And you can just Google me and find me there too as well.
Pues Marcos, para nuestra audiencia de habla hispana,
Okay.
¿qué es lo que haces? ¿Cómo te pueden encontrar?
Sí, soy Marco Delgado. Me pueden encontrar en las redes sociales. Estoy debajo de Las Vegas Best DJs, los mejores DJs de Las Vegas. Me puedes encontrar en Facebook, YouTube, Instagram o Facebook. 702-498-5400. Y estoy debajo de Las Vegas Best DJs. Me pueden encontrar en correo electrónico. Es info@lasvegasbestdjs.com.
¿Y qué tipo de DJ haces? O sea, ¿para qué tipo de fiestas? A ver, cuéntanos.
Yo ya escuché el de suicidios, es cuando you get married. So es de suicidios. Nobody knows.
Pues hago de todo. Hacemos fiestas, 15 años, bodas, eventos corporativos. Tipo de música, pues yo dejo que mis clientes escojan la música, sea cumbia, merengue, hip hop, house, como dicen ahora, EDM. Todo, también hacemos anuncios, coordinamos su evento, maestro de ceremonias y obviamente traer luz y sonido para cualquier evento.
¿Cuál ha sido el evento más interesante o que no esperabas?
Cuando empecé, llegué a tocar para los cumpleaños de Floyd Mayweather.
¡Wow!
Antes de que se hiciera popular.
Right.
Me contrataron, no sabía, era una casa, fui a una gran mansión y tenía su ring de boxing, del boxeo en un gran edificio. Y yo no sabía quién era. Y trajo mariachi, y empecé a tocar música y toqué por un par de horas y terminé. No lo conocí, pero lo miré de lejos. Pero ya conforme pasó el tiempo dije, Floyd Mayweather, pues yo toqué sus cumpleaños, no sé qué
¿Y
año.
no te tomaste la foto con él?
No me dejaron. Tenía sus guardias.
Sí, los guaruras.
No, pero él se sabe defender.
Sí, también tuve la oportunidad de tocar en el Eastside Cannery cuando estaba abierto.
Oh, sí, extraño el Eastside Cannery.
El 16 piso se llama el 16 Lounge.
Oh,
y
sí,
me encanta
tuvimos-
eso allá.
hasta
Piso
tuvimos
50, un evento piso
allá.
52, ¿verdad?
y creo el 16.
16.
Por eso
Okay, pero
16.
dice, okay, sí. Yo me acuerdo.
Sí.
Muy bonito la vista de ahí. Sí.
Sí.
Toqué Año Nuevo
Exacto.
por 3 años ahí y llegué a tocar para el grupo de Kool and the Gang, a los
wow.
Commodores, a los Four Tops.
Lionel
Yeah.
Richie.
Llegaron ahí, fue el Año Nuevo y tenían su área al lado del DJ. Y no los conocí porque pues estaba ocupado,
Sí.
pero tuve esa oportunidad de tocar para ellos. So.
Qué
Te
bonito.
faltó uno. Los Tucanes de Tijuana y La Chona. Si
No,
no,
eso
no
sí,
hay
sí,
party.
sí, La
Sí,
Chona,
no hay party.
La Chona, esa sí es una de las canciones más favoritas. Se agarra a toda la gente para bailar. Y la boda del Huitlacoche, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Esa sí está buena.
Marcos, pues muchas gracias conocerte y que nuestro público te conozca lo que
Un
tú
placer.
haces y eres un líder de Las Vegas que ayudas a que tome cuerpo el futuro de nuestras Vegas con generaciones con la tuya y con todos los que más vienen. Te felicitamos por participar en estas
verdad que
clases,
sí.
Gracias.
por testimonio que es honesto, lo sentimos aquí en el corazón. Y de todas maneras vas a dar la lista y luego me avisas. Y luego también darle las gracias a Maite, que es nuestra co-host aquí en el programa, que es la directora de negocios, de educación de negocios de la Cámara de Comercio Latina, y su servidor Carlos Gómez de la Cámara de Comercio Latina. Y entre todos nosotros les deseamos a ustedes mucho éxito.